You would think that walking away from a toxic relationship would feel like freedom. And for some, at first it does. There is relief, there is space to breathe. But then, something happens. The mind starts circling, the doubts creep in. And before you know it, you are not just remembering what they did, you are wondering if maybe it really was your fault. That is the cruel twist of narcissistic abuse. It makes you doubt your own escape. I am Zane, a relationship consultant and psychologist, and today we are sitting with the quiet, heavy reality of self-blame after leaving abuse. Part of why this happens is because narcissists train you to internalize blame. Every problem, every conflict, every outburst becomes something you caused or failed to prevent. Over time, that narrative becomes a reflex. Even after you leave, the programming lingers. You hear their voice in your head whenever something goes wrong. You start thinking, maybe I was too emotional. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe I should have communicated better. And just like that, you become your own gaslighter. Another reason self-blame surfaces is because clarity is painful. When the fog lifts, you begin to see the full weight of what you endured. And with that recognition comes grief, but also shame. God, all shame. Shame for not leaving sooner. Shame for going back. Shame for what you tolerated. That shame turns inward fast, and instead of blaming them, you turn the blame on yourself. It feels easier somehow, because if it was your fault, then maybe next time you can control it. That illusion of control gives you something to hold on to in a sea of chaos. But here's what you need to know. Self-blame is not clarity. It is residue. It is your mind trying to organize trauma into something logical. Abuse is never logical, and neither is healing. The part of you that blames yourself is often the part that still believes deep down that if you had just done better, you could have made them love you differently. But love was never the problem. Control was, power was, and no amount of empathy could have changed that. And let us not ignore the role of culture, especially for women and marginalized people. We are taught to see ourselves as the emotional caretakers in relationships. If something breaks, we fix it. If someone is hurtful, we soften. If a dynamic is toxic, we look inward before we ever look out. That cultural conditioning runs deep. It teaches us that being mistreated is a reflection of our worth, that we failed not that someone else chose to harm us. Self-blame can also be a sign of progress. That might sound strange, but it means you are beginning to untangle the narrative. You are questioning, evaluating, trying to understand. That is not weakness, that is work. And eventually, that self-interrogation will lead you to something more honest. Not what did I do wrong, but why did I think that was love? Not how did I let it go on so long, but what did I need that kept me hoping? There is also a kind of quiet mourning that can deepen the blame. You might catch yourself remembering the good times and wondering if you ruined them. Nostalgia can be selective, filters out the cruelty, and amplifies the warmth. You might feel foolish for missing someone who hurt you, but that longing is not a betrayal of your healing, it is part of it. You are not longing for the abuse. You are longing for the version of the relationship you hoped could exist. That hope was valid. That dream was honest. But it was not reciprocated. And sometimes, you are surrounded by people who minimize what you went through. Friends who say it could not have been that bad, or you were overthinking it. That kind of feedback pushes you deeper into self-doubt. It makes you second-guess your own memory. And when your truth is not reflected back to you, your brain defaults to shame. That is why community matters. Being seen and believed matters. Not just for validation, but for survival. If you are in that space right now, turning everything inward, pause. Just pause. You survived something that wanted to erase you, made it out. And even if your mind is still catching up to that truth, your body knows. It knows you are safer now. It knows you are healing. Have you noticed this tendency to blame yourself after leaving? What did it sound like in your head? Leave a comment. Your story could help someone untangle their own. If you want to keep unpacking these patterns with me, make sure to subscribe to STR TV. In the next episode, we will talk about how to rebuild trust in yourself after narcissistic abuse. Until then, trust your doubts, but trust your healing more.